Yes, I killed him, the most perfect husband, the kind every woman would ask for. The type who always needs you and never looks outside, and that was his crime. Frank Dada, my beloved husband, his last moments were the most blissful day of our marriage. That night was a bloodstorm, the smell of blood tasted like freedom. Don't go anywhere. Let me tell you how it all began. Was it worth becoming a murderer? Maybe it was. Why not find out for yourself? Frank and I courted for a year.
You look so handsome.
People called us the religious couple. My parents carried their shoulders very high, proud to have a perfect, godly son-in-law like Frank, and most importantly, from the Dada family. When Frank told me no sex before marriage, I found it odd, but my parents said that was a man of principle and respect for me. And when I tried to ask him why, he told me I shouldn't worry, that he was in good health and fit, that he just wanted me to be his legal partner first. I said okay. We had one of the most beautiful and elegant weddings. It was truly amazing. Friends, enemies, even strangers said I was so lucky to be part of the Dada family. That night, I expected a room adorned with flowers and soft, dim lights, or at least a normal room for our honeymoon. But no, I was greeted with a blindfold. That was unexpected, but maybe he had a surprise for me. And yes, he did, but not the kind anyone would wish for in their entire life, let alone on their honeymoon. Frank guided my steps into an inner room I never knew existed. Before I knew what was happening, I was pushed onto a cold, iron-like chair. And like a joke, I was chained. Ah! What is happening? I panicked and asked, Frank, what are you doing? He laughed out loud and said, Wifey, don't worry. I just love to play with you, and you know it's our first night. Let me show you what your husband really loves and likes. Gradually, he removed the blindfold. And my heart jumped out of my chest. What? No, please, this can't be true. Inside was filled with all manner of instruments. I believe it was for tormenting and torture. How can this be? Before I could make clear of what was happening, his voice brought me back. Wifey, for a whole year I endured because I can't let you escape me. I have imagined you inside this room for so long, and God, you fit perfectly. Don't worry, my wife, as long as you are obedient, you will be fine. And that was how the whips landed on my skin, and the plugs were forced inside me. I was brutalized by Frank, all manner of styles and no intact skin. I begged and cried for him to let me go, but that was what turned him on, my tears. I don't know how I survived the night, but I believe I did. A Grammy-winning honeymoon. And in the morning, Frank became the Frank he disguised himself to be for 1 year, praying and thanking God for a successful wedding and a beautiful wife, and how I was forced into his morning devotion. If shock was a person, that's me, because I still can't believe that night and how he behaved like it was nothing. Emotions left behind, I was blank. From that day on, I didn't have a matrimonial bed but spent all my nights in that dark room, waking up every morning with bruises and a family doctor to attend to the wounds. I tried to wrap my head around what was happening in my life. I mean, it was supposed to be a marriage, right? A lovely one with Frank, the dream come true man, and I am speechless. Before the whole wedding preparation, I took 2 months leave from work, and after 2 weeks, it was time to go back. Frank handed me an envelope, and inside was a well-structured resignation letter for me to quit my job. How come? I refused, but before I knew it, my parents called me through the landline in our living room, the one Frank controls, and before I could scream for help, my mom began to lecture me on how lucky I was to marry into the Dada family. How can a rich family allow their wives to work in a cheap company like yours? She said. You should listen to your husband and quit your job. And that was it. No, how are you doing? Nothing. And if you're wondering about my personal phone, even I don't know where it is, because Frank took it. To be honest, what serious crime did I commit in my past life to marry Frank in this one?
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Subscription is free.
I can still remember how he called every friend in my contact list and warned them to stop their friendship with me, saying their influence was bad for our marriage. And did I tell you how he personally submitted that letter to my office? My life really did a 360-degree U-turn, from being a free individual to a married prisoner, no better than a kidnapped victim. And when isolation called, I answered. Maybe it's not good to marry above your economic status and power, because you end up outrightly powerless. And I honestly wonder what lies he told my family and friends all these months of not seeing me. After 6 months in hell with a sexual abuser, I got pregnant, and shocker, none of us was happy about the news. But for a moment, I let myself believe maybe, with the baby, he would stop his torture. Not too surprising, it was the opposite. This particular day I overheard him on the phone with his personal wound-treating doctor, talking about how the prevention pills never worked and the possible way to remove my womb. God! From that day on, dark thoughts began to form in my mind. I was abused without rescue, all alone with parents who worship money more than my well-being. The day I made a move to escape, I received the beating of my life, so merciless. To live, I promised never to escape again. The baby tried to survive in my womb for 8 months. That fateful night, with the whole downpour and lightning outside, I knew it was time to end this miserable cage wrapped with legal documents and signatures. Frank, as usual, dragged me into his pleasure room, as he called it, thinking it was business as usual, but maybe not this time. Every sound from the heavy rain and lightning felt like cheers to end it once and for all. Which I did, with all justice. I reached for the closest object in the room when he wasn't paying attention and hit every demonic spirit of sex abuse addiction out of him. And oh my, I felt so good, and his lifeless eyes could not believe it as they stared wide open. I did not run, rather, I stared at my beautiful work of art. The air was filled with blood. The baby had had enough, and I got a miscarriage, an 8-month death inside me, but I wasn't sad. I was happy because I knew it wouldn't have had a good life anyway. So it was for the best. I called the police in the morning. Yes, I did not run. They took me for questioning, but I refused to answer. What could I say to free myself? That it was self-defense? With the dadas, I knew I would be sentenced to life imprisonment with hard labor. As for my parents, don't bother asking, they're too shameful to be called parents. Frank's family did all they could to cover his crimes and frame me for being cold-blooded in the name of seeking justice for their son. I began to think maybe I wasn't even Frank's first victim or wife, and his family knew about it. In the end, I was sentenced to 10 years with hard labor, which I don't care about. Rather, I felt good knowing Frank was no more.
Yes, I killed him. The most perfect husband, the kind every woman would ask for.